At first, it looks like there's a lot going on in this question. We've got a lot of different words changing, and so we might be tempted to just read these choices and see which one sounds best. But if you narrow your focus and just try to break this one question down into smaller questions, smaller choices that we need to make, I think that the more obvious thing here is that some choices have an apostrophe and other choices don't. So that's the first thing that I think about, because apostrophes are punctuation and they have specific rules about when we can and cannot use them. And so unlike things like phrasing and wording and diction, things where it's a lot harder to maybe tell which words are appropriate, we have a clear sense of whether an apostrophe is going to be appropriate. If the waterways are owning something, then we need to show that ownership, that possession, by using an apostrophe. So let's look at the sentence. If it is improperly introduced into the environment, acid-way runoff can pollute waterways, depleting the oxygen content of streams and rivers as it decomposes. Well, the waterways don't have anything. Nothing belongs to them, so there's no reason for us to use an apostrophe here. And just like that, we get rid of choices B and D because they include apostrophes. Now we do need to consider the wording of the choice, but it is hopefully easier to think about that. We only have two things to consider. One is going to be better, hopefully, than the other just by reading it. If it is improperly introduced into the environment, acid-way runoff could have polluted waterways, depleting the oxygen content of streams and rivers as it decomposes. Well, they're not talking about one specific instance where we had some acid-way runoff and it could have gotten into the water, but it didn't because of some environmental hero. I don't know. They're talking generally that this is a thing that is consistently a problem, and it always can get in the waterways if we're not careful. So that is the appropriate phrasing. I think that sounds right, pretty obviously. And so hopefully once we're down to A and C, it's a lot easier for us to make that choice. It kind of is the whole point of narrow your focus, is to say, well, we don't want to have to think about all of the complexities of a question at once. It's easier to take them one at a time. And here's that example where if we get rid of the apostrophe choices, we have a much easier choice. So try to notice that in the answer choices. What are they doing differently? Where do they kind of branch off? Try to hit each branch separately, and it'll help your brain and it'll help your score.